I'll have your Storm Tracker 13 forecast.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on KRDO News Channel 13 at 10 o'clock. I'm Angelica Lombardi. Well, first up tonight, hit and runs in Pueblo are on the rise. The Pueblo Police Department reports there were more than 1,000 hit and run incidents in 2016, which is almost 3 a day. KRDO News Channel 13's Colleen Socorro joins us live in Pueblo. And Colleen, you spoke with drivers and police about these new numbers.
Angelica, people I spoke with today were shocked to learn that hit and run accidents have increased 24% since 2014, and they wanted to know why. Drivers?
It's kind of disturbing.
Shocked.
Surprised, followed by frustration.
Learning there were 1,034 hit and run accidents in Pueblo in 2016.
I can't imagine ever hitting somebody and leaving the scene. So it says a lot about who we are as a nation and as a people.
And 1,034, a 24% increase since 2014. Sergeant Eric Gonzalez with the Pueblo Police Department says there's a number of reasons drivers won't stop when they hit another car.
It has to do with no insurance, no driver's license, and sometimes even intoxication, either by alcohol or drugs.
And only about 30% of those hit and run cases have been closed because of the lack of information.
It's just up to the officers who show up and just go off the word of the one driver who's left. We don't have anything else to go on, and sometimes that makes it a little more difficult for us to solve those hit and run accidents.
Police are still looking for Mariah Apodaca, suspected for hitting and injuring a man riding his bike last summer and leaving the scene. As for why the increase is occurring, Sergeant Gonzalez can only speculate.
Because of the fact that those have been increased over the last 2 years since marijuana has become legal, kind of points that direction.
Chad Fife believes if voters would have approved more cops onto the street, it may have helped.
Because there's not as many police on the road, then there's more apt for people just to hit and be like, there's no cops around here, I'm going to take off.
The couple will continue to be careful around town.
I mean, it definitely does, but it's kind of like anything. You have to drive. We don't live in a community where you can walk or bike everywhere.
Hoping to not be a part of the 1,034. Now, if you're involved in a hit and run, police suggest to use your phone to capture license plate numbers, the car, the driver, and as well as getting any witness information may help police catch the person who hit you. Live in Pueblo, Colleen Socorro, KRDO News Channel 13.
All right, thanks, Colleen. A car driving on the northeast side of Colorado Springs hit a pedestrian last night, but this driver did not leave the scene. The accident shut down all lanes on southbound Academy Boulevard north of Maysland for several hours. Police say one person was taken to a hospital with serious injuries, but is now in stable condition. No arrests were made. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing fewer accidents around here in the coming week. The sun put in another all-day melting effort today, and we should be seeing some warmer temps in the coming week. Storm Tracker 13 meteorologist Nick Carter here now with more on that. Nick?
Angelica, it's going to take some patience because it's very, very slow to warm up. Remember the early morning low temperatures and the extensive snow cover we had over the eastern plains. When the winds are light, you have clear skies, and you've got lots of snow on the ground. You get these cold temperatures. Just had to rehash these overnight low temperatures that we had from early this morning. Along our front range, probably one of the coldest spots was down south, just south of Colorado Springs, right down in Pueblo at -14. But the state's official coldest spot, at least the one that we got an actual report from, was down in Alamosa with -36. Wow. Southeastern Colorado, snow-free at this time. This is just a little flurry activity over Weld County in northern Colorado. There was a little batch of activity that came in from the west. Again, a pipeline of moisture coming in from the Pacific coastline that we'll check in a little more detail. I got something to tell you about with that. But southeastern Colorado, it's pretty quiet at this time with nothing much happening except the wind chill factors. It feels like 3 degrees outside, 2 above in Pueblo, and single-digit temperatures below zero. -4 in Burlington, -19 in Lamar. And this is what it looks like in Burlington. Mostly fair skies, but we've got that snowpack and light winds, so it gets very, very cold, and that's what we're expecting for the rest of the night. Warmer and windy weather returns starting tomorrow evening, and there's more mountain snow, as in heavy snow, on the way for parts of Colorado's high country. We'll be back with the Storm Tracker 13 forecast. We'll cover all the bases in a few.
All right, thanks, Nick. Well, looking for love in all the wrong places. One Colorado Springs man learned the hard way this week. He was robbed around noon yesterday in the 1400 block of Tappan Circle. Police say the man brought home a girl he met online. A short time later, two suspects, one armed, entered the home and robbed the man of his wallet, jewelry, and gaming consoles. His car was also taken. The incident prompted a message from other dating services. We talked with a downtown matchmaker who has some safety tips.
If you're meeting someone new for the first time, whether you're meeting them through an online service or anybody, meet them on neutral territory. Don't have somebody come to your house. Don't go to their house. Meet them on neutral territory.
Another tip for you: if you are going to meet someone, make sure you tell a friend or a family member. Tonight, we continue to learn more about the Fort Lauderdale airport shooting. Eyewitnesses are coming forward with incredible testimonies, and we're finding out more about the gunman. But still, many questions remain.
And the pop started, we hit the ground, I turned around, and she was shot in the head and killed.
Travelers in the thick of the chaos at Fort Lauderdale's airport.
Her husband was shot in the face. The guy next to him was shot in the cheek. The guy next to him was face down. He was dead.
Witnesses looked on in horror as a gunman unleashed a hail of bullets.
He reloaded and he's walking just with his arms straight out, stone face.
I saw a man get shot in the head. I saw there were people with blood on them.
This man saved by his laptop as hundreds fled.
I was crouched up against the conveyor belt and I felt a thud. Later I found out that there was a bullet that ricocheted and entered my backpack. Without the backpack, without my laptop in the case, in the plastic case, the bullet would have gone through my shoulder blades.
Heavily armed SWAT teams rushed to the scene. Under arrest, 26-year-old Esteban Santiago, who threw down his gun and surrendered without a struggle. FBI agents say last November, the ex-Army reservist walked into their Anchorage office, agitated and incoherent. They say Santiago made statements about mind control. He was taken to a mental health facility.
There is currently no indication Mr. Santiago was working with any other individuals when he planned and carried out yesterday's attack.
Terminal 2 is open again as airlines work to get thousands of stranded air travelers to their destinations. The suspected gunman who was charged today is expected to be in court Monday. If he is eventually convicted, he will face the death penalty. And as we learn more about the airport shooter, family members are speaking out, and many are saying the same thing, that this could have been prevented.
They had him hospitalized for 4 days, and then they let him go. How are you going to let someone leave a psychological center after 4 days when he is saying that he's hearing voices, that the CIA is telling him to join certain groups?
And that was Esteban Santiago's brother speaking out from Puerto Rico. His aunt echoing those statements, saying Santiago was never the same after serving a tour of Iraq. Records do back up the family's story. According to CNN, the FBI in Alaska asked police to take Santiago for a mental health evaluation after he admitted to hearing voices. And the shooting in Fort Lauderdale is now raising questions about the safety of travelers and areas that don't have a lot of security. Like most airports around the country, in Colorado Springs, there is no security lining the front doors of the airport entrance. Officials say it's because it's nearly impossible to cover every single area and guarantee safety.
Well, we're just going to place them at the entrance, then, the bad guy starts looking at other areas. I think what is a more legitimate plan is to have a plan where you have roaming security.
There have been incidents, and this is not the only one, where things have happened in the lobby. So what are we coming to? Are we going to have to do a TSA check before we even drive our vehicles into the airport or something?
The Florida attack is also raising concerns about guns being carried in luggage. It's currently legal under TSA regulations, but that could soon be under review. And still to come here on News Channel 13 at 10, dramatic video out of Florida tonight.
Down. Put it down. Put it down, you don't want to get hurt.
An armed ex-Marine threatens to hurt officers. What they did next just may have saved his life.
And a little bit of snow drifting across Colorado's high country, and more is on the way. Question is, does it hit southeast Colorado? I'll have the answer with the Storm Tracker 13 forecast. Remember all the snow we had in the high country? Could be some more headed our way because of a Pacific pipeline of moisture. We actually call it the Pineapple Express. You trace all of these weather makers. They go all the way out to the Hawaiian Islands, warm Pacific waters, and they carry that moisture across California, where they've got some problems with a lot of melting with the last storm. And on top of that, some extra rain coming through. And of course, it gets into the basin area and the northwestern U.S. where the temperatures are much colder. It all turns to snow. And that's just what we had earlier this afternoon. We had a little wave of moisture come through in the high country where the mountains picked up a little dusting of snow, about 1 to 2 inches on the higher peaks. But southeast Colorado stayed mostly clear. By the time all of that air moves across the Continental Divide, most of that moisture is squeezed out. But we still see a little bit on live HD Doppler right now. Most of this is snow that never quite reaches the ground. It's up in the skies over Weld County. Our highest temperatures today were still below freezing, and that's because with the last system we had all that extensive snowpack. And when you have clear skies, lots of snow, very little wind, it's just like laying on a bed of ice, and it just keeps us down below freezing. We only got up to 29 degrees in Colorado Springs. It was only 25 in Pueblo. And right now we're in single-digit territory again across southeast Colorado. Up in the northeast town of end of town in Briargate, it's only 13 degrees, going up to Monument 16 degrees. In Cimarron Hills, only 15 degrees above zero. Pueblo and Pueblo West in the single digits, still above zero, but it's only 2 officially in Pueblo. Colorado City at 13 and San Isabel at 21. You get into Westcliff, your current temperature at 21, and down across the New Mexico state line across Raton Pass, only 22 degrees. Low temperatures tonight are going to be in the low single digits again, 9 for us, 4 in Pueblo, I should say. And our skycast, as far as precipitation goes, we're going to see more of that moisture, bringing some snow to the high country, and it starts to get really heavy tomorrow night, and we're going to start to see a reintroduction of winter weather advisories, all kinds of stuff. But in southeast Colorado, we're going to stay dry, and with the winds out of the west and the fact that they're going to start increasing starting tomorrow night, our temperatures are going to be back into the mid to upper 40s. Winter weather alerts, that's only for a small part of the high country, and that starts at midnight tomorrow night. That doesn't really affect us. What I'm concerned about are the winds across southern Colorado, where we could see gusts up to near 30 miles per hour, especially true up in the Woodland Park area and in Canyon City. So powerful winds and a high wind watch, which goes into effect late tomorrow night, doesn't really affect affect Pueblo, but the west side of Colorado Springs, we got to kind of watch that. That's going to be our real concern. Forecast again for tomorrow. It's just going to get warmer because of those westerly winds. Snow in the high country, but temperatures in the 40s tomorrow, 50s on Tuesday, and pretty moderate temperatures throughout the rest of the week. For Pueblo, pretty much the same story. 47 tomorrow, 58 on Monday. Rest of the week, temperatures will be in the 40s and 50s. Finally, some decent weather, although these temperatures a little above average. We might even hit 60 degrees on Monday for Canyon City, and for Teller County, temperatures will be in the 40s for tomorrow. So we're going to warm up to seasonal levels tomorrow. More melting. Be careful on those side streets. You can slip and slide around there. And back to work, back to school Monday through Thursday through Friday. Temperatures will be nice and mild, but snow in the high country. Check it out, and we'll be checking things out for you again tomorrow.
Looks like a nice warm-up compared to last week.
I'm ready for it.
So am I. All right, thanks, Nick. Well, still to come on News Channel 13 at 10. Of all the places to rob, a man breaks into a spy store. He was, of course, caught on camera. And we remember one of our own. KRDO News Radio's Paul Richards was laid to rest today. We're taking a look back on his legacy. A memorial service was held this morning for former KRDO News Radio anchor Paul Richards. He was found dead in his West Colorado Springs home back on December 11th. The memorial was held today at the Broadmoor Community Church. Paul had a way of brightening up every room with his warm smile and infectious laugh, and found a way to make everyone feel like they were the most important person in the room. Now we want to take a look back at his incredible radio career that began back in the 80s.
For many years, Paul Richards, whose real name was Paul Munt, was known as the man behind the music, working as a DJ for various stations along the way before joining the KRDO News Radio morning team in early 2013. His co-anchor, Mike Lewis, remembers hiring him.
The voice was so familiar, and I felt like he was a friend when I met him for the first time. He cared a great deal about what he did. He was very big into accuracy, wanted to make sure that we got it not only first, but we had to get it right, then we wanted to be first. So he cared about his job, he cared about the news.
But while he developed a passion for news, Lewis says his first love would always be music.
Paul and I would spend 4 hours a day at least in here together. And, you know, when you're in commercial breaks and things like that, you're talking about what's going on. I found out a lot about Paul. One of his big passions was going to concerts. I can't count the amount of concerts that man has seen over the years. He loved a good concert.
Then here we go, fellas.
Paul would occasionally appear on camera, interviewing small business owners and charities as part of our Business Connections segment. He also devoted a lot of time to fundraisers for local charities, as well as to his wife and their 5 children. Paul Richards was 55 years old.
Taser.
All right, Joe, we've got our first crosstalk coming up here. Are you ready?
What's it about?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the driver of this vehicle. You need to tell me what you want to talk about.
Yeah, how much I know about. Welcome back, everyone. Tense moments in Florida as an ex-Marine threatens police with a huge knife.
Put it down, you don't want to get hurt.
Now, this happened in Miami-Dade County. The suspect had already told dispatchers he was depressed and feeling violent, but officers quickly realized the man was suffering from a mental illness. They then tried to calm the situation, even as the suspect issued more threats.
If you keep coming closer, you're dead.
Okay.
I got a second. When
Okay.
it hits me, the hit comes back to you.
Okay.
I know how that is.
Okay.
I've been sorry to do it.
Moments later, officers were finally close enough to tase the man. It was a rough takedown, but one that likely saved his life. Well, not every police suspect deserves sympathy. Some just deserve their place in the dumb criminals file, like this guy in Deerfield Beach, Florida. Out of all the places he could burglarize, he chose a place that sells spy gear. Safe to say, he was caught on camera.
I don't know why you would try to rob a spy store. Guy is probably not the smartest criminal.
Despite all those warning signs, the man tried and failed to break the front door with a rock. He left empty-handed, but did leave behind a couple good selfies. And Mardi Gras season officially kicks off this weekend. Yesterday was King's Day, the first part of a period that runs through Mardi Gras Day on February 28th. King cakes were flying out the doors at New Orleans bakeries, and parades are already starting right now in cities, Nick. Pretty exciting time of the year. Mardi Gras, it's a whole month-long celebration.
I can't even, we ruined the surprise. I was supposed to appear here to talk about desserts and delicious cakes.
King's cake, gotta love it.
Wait, is that your favorite dessert, King's cake? Would you say, I mean,
I like the part where you find a little baby inside.
That is fun.
That's the only reason
I'm
I
a
eat
cupcake
it.
man myself,
Okay.
but that's okay. Speaking of cake, No cake today for Colorado high schools. They were playing some tough basketball on the hard court. I don't know, Angelica, which one should I say there? Anyway, we got high school hoops highlights coming up.